In my life as a director and an artistic director, it's really about unlocking people's potential, seeing that potential, helping them find access to it, and giving them the means to be able to pull from it and work from it unapologetically. And if I had been some expert, and come in and knocked out my first audition, maybe I would be looking past a lot of people. But I look at, in every audition, every time I meet somebody, my instinct is to see beyond that first impression.
Hi, and welcome to Art After Dark, where you get to learn all about arts and culture in the Permian Basin, and I get to live out my Dick Cavett fantasy. Good evening. My name is Randy Ham. I am the executive director of Odessa Arts, and I'm thrilled to be joined tonight by Aaron Ganz, artistic director at the Globe Theater. Aaron, thank you so much for being here.
So exciting to be here, Randy.
I'm excited because we get to talk about your origin story, and then we get to talk about our origin story because I have been a huge fan since you first got here less than a year ago. Can you believe that?
It's gone by so fast.
So let's start with what got you started in theater before you even arrived here in Paradise.
Wow. Life is such an adventure. It's hard to know whether it was the passionate way that my grandfather would sing and dance,
Mhm.
the way that I would watch him at every community gathering and seeing like sweat dripping off of him, singing with his full lungs. And I think that spirit, more than anything I could pick on, would be the thing that has made me want to make my life filled with that sense of rejoicing, of expression, unapologetic. Sort of reminds me of that little bit of Tuesdays with Maury. I
Yeah.
remember reading that book,
Yes.
and there's this one part where the older man Maury gave a lesson in saying that, or he always danced and didn't even need music, and there was just something about that, this ability to dance, to express, to share, even without the music. So I think it was really my grandfather. But if I was being completely honest, I was supposed to be a doctor growing
Yeah.
up. I was really, really close to going to medical school, and I had some free time, and some friends said I should get a hobby, and they said I was a good storyteller, and I should go ahead and apply and audition for this dramatic society in my college. And I knew nothing about acting, Randy. I had no exposure from my family. I didn't go see theater when I was younger at all. But I went in, and something happened. I think I was incredibly silly. I didn't know anything about theater. So my first audition, I was just trying to stand as still as possible so that if I didn't get to be one of the characters, they'd choose me as a tree or a rock or a soldier. And I remember in the darkness, the artistic director there who I was auditioning for, my first ever audition, just out of the booming darkness, he would say, "Some movement, please." And Randy, I promise you this, I just started swaying, thinking I would pull off a great tree in the breeze. I remember walking out of that audition and him following me out and asking me, "What was that?" So I just want to be part of the team. He said, "Well, why don't you try being the character?" And that was my first acting lesson.
Wow.
And yeah, I'm attracted to people who love what they do. And I got a
Yeah.
chance to meet with that and to be part of that director's vision. His name was Dr. Anthony Bucas, and he was a classmate in Yale with Meryl Streep, he always told us. And boy, he just loved what he did. And he didn't care about anything other than the fact that you cared about it. And from there, friends noticed that I had something to offer, and they encouraged me to audition, to let go of my focus of being a doctor and to audition for NYU, New York University's Tisch School of the Arts, which I did and miraculously got in there in their transfer studio and was accepted into the Meisner extension and trained under Vicky Hart. And that really began my specific journey into the world of acting and theater. But really, it starts with unapologetic expression. And it continued with somebody who saw beyond my swaying tree and saw that there was something yearning to express. And yeah.
That is
Mm.
that is amazing, and I can't believe that as much as we've conversed over the last year, that's the first time I've heard that story, and that is amazing. Why just be the tree when you can be the character? That's
I'm so happy that happened to me, Randy, because in my life as a director and an artistic director, it's really about unlocking people's potential, seeing that potential, helping them find access to it, and giving them the means to be able to pull from it and work from it unapologetically. And if I had been some expert, and come in and knocked out my first audition, maybe I would be looking past a lot of people. But I look at in every audition, every time I meet somebody, my instinct is to see beyond that first impression, to see the truth, to find where it lies. Because a lot of people in life, life forces us to hide our truth, forces us to
Yes.
hide the things that we want to risk in terms of what we know about this world. And having somebody see beyond my swaying tree and see me really imparted that, handed the baton off to me to do the same.
Yeah, well, and it's such a powerful statement because we are taught so much to hide who we are in everyday life and adhere to a strict set of parameters or rules. And it's my belief that art is the purest form of truth and expression. You find the thing that, whether you're good at it or not, the thing that you enjoy, whether it's music, whether it's dance, whether it's theater, writing, whatever it is, and be able to express yourself that way. You're bearing a huge part of your soul to be able to do that. And it's incredibly frightening because you want to be in front of an audience and you want that validation, and you just don't know whether you're going to get it. And
Takes risk and fearlessness to be an actor. It's not one of those things where it's like, oh, you're just a model and you're lazy in life, so you just get to go and pretend and play all these roles. You could do that. But what you're talking about here, what I'm attracted to as well, is this lens that we have in art, which is this the way we see the world, what we understand about it, what we understand about love. We can look at two people caring for each other in a moment, me and you, and we would both understand something unique, a unique spice, flavor about that. Some people can sing from that, what they
yeah,
get. Some can write. Actors live it, bring it to life. And so I think if you're doing it for real, if it's what you know compared to what everyone else knows, like you said, no one knows for sure yet whether it'll be accepted. So it takes guts, different bravery than on the battlefield. But boy,
sure.
oh boy, it is a bravery nonetheless. And so being fearless, unapologetic, those are the things that help us get the truth of your art out. I agree with that very much.
It's so true. And also the great thing about performance, whether it is theater or dance or music, is because it's a communal experience. Every night of that production is unique. You will never have those people in the same room again, exactly the same. And so, like you said, you sitting there, both of us sitting there witnessing something, you're going to take something different from that performance than I did. And we may have, a Venn diagram of the things that are like core beliefs or core truths, but there will be unique pieces that only I identify with that you glaze over, and vice versa. And it's such a beautiful thing, and it was probably for me one of the hardest things about the pandemic was not being able to have communal experiences like that anymore.
Think about how important this thing is for the world. That how do we understand how to live life, how to do the right thing, what the right thing is, what our journey is? How do we understand how to go about our business, how to live, unless we get pieces? Like it's like a huge human tapestry. When you are
Hmm.
honest with your art, when you're raw and unapologetic, as a writer, singer, actor, out comes that bit that you get in the world and it attaches to all those other bits that everybody else has expressed. And before you know it, we're wrapped and surrounded in the story of what it's like to be a human being. But if we only just like copy what other people have already said is okay, then we don't really have that full, complicated, textured story of humanity. Being an actor reveals, being an artist reveals life. And it's easy to take that for granted. But if you do it right, and I don't mean good or bad, I mean true, you're adding something that reverberates through the ages, that opens doors for somebody, helps them find themselves. And it's a chain reaction that's gotten us here, right, into
Yes,
the beautiful work that we each get a chance to do with our lives. For sure.
it's so true, and that thing that you're talking about is why the works of William Shakespeare are still performed today, because they are so universal, which is a great segue
I saw
into
what you just did.
what a great segue into, you are now at the Globe Theater, and we have for those of you that don't know, we have a replica of the Globe Theater right here on the campus of Odessa College. And this is your first year playing with that, and you just did your first Shakespeare production in that building. So tell me a little bit about that.
The Globe is what drew me to Odessa. I'm going to just say you, Randy Ham, are what made me super excited about Odessa and helped me to take advantage of all the beautiful artistic communities and artistic momentum going on here in Odessa. I mean that, Randy. You are a force for artistic good in this area. But
Well,
what
thank
drew
you.
me here in the first place is the globe, another thing that's easy to take for granted.
Yes.
When I saw the opening and I saw that it was empty in a way, which is not enough is being done with it. When I
Yeah.
came down to Odessa, people said, "Oh, the Globe. Oh, when I was younger, I acted in it." Or I remember going to see a show with my family over there. And it always followed up with, "What's going on over there now?"
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I thought, that's right for me. I'm hungry. I have vision. I have energy. I have passion to connect people, to put up and do great work. But I was looking for a place that had something special, special ingredients that hadn't been awakened fully just yet, hadn't been realized just yet. And I thought the globe has gone through eras,
Yes.
right?
Yes, it has.
And
Like Taylor Swift.
like Taylor Swift, and it's our time now, our time now. And it's an honor and a wonderful responsibility to be able to envision what could be, looking into the past and the traditions here in Odessa with our globe and thinking about how that we can use that connection for the momentum of what could be possibly done in the future. This first year, it's tricky. Just like
Yeah.
sitting here and conversing with
Oh,
you. This is
sure.
not something we have a script by. How do you know
No.
what to do?
Right?
But like everything I'm saying with you, I lead with my heart. I
Yes.
trust the knowledge and the ethic that I have, and then I lead with my heart. And the first show that I did over here was Wouldn't It Be Lovely? It was an
Yes.
opportunity to modernize the My Fair Lady story and to give audiences a taste of how I like to break boundaries in terms of the way theater is supposed to be. We utilized the courtyard outside with our audiences for the early
Yeah.
streets of New York. We moved our audiences into the globe. We moved them back out into the courtyard and transformed it into this ambassador's garden party gala that Liza would dance and sing and win over our audiences just like she wins over the rich upper class in the story, and moved them back into the globe, back and forth, not not capping where stories can happen, but being curious and following where they should be told. And then the same thing for the next show, which you referenced, Much Ado About Nothing, Shakespeare's most beautiful and celebrated romantic comedy. And I wanted to honor the globe, honor Shakespeare, and just use every nook and cranny in that globe to make it be almost like when an audience is sitting there and for a second they would wonder, could this have been like what it was like back in the day with Shakespeare, watching these actors on the boards, just living and igniting the world with imagination, not overwhelming it with technology, but the things that theater is all about: language, relationships, imagination. You know, instead of playing pretend, doing the work so that we can make believe. We can make our actors believe, make our audiences believe. That's the grown up version of doing this play stuff that we should always have rejoicing in our hearts. But I think the globe is a sanctuary. I know the wood was
Yes.
flown in from England, from what I
Yes.
understand.
Yes, it
I know
was.
the lanterns are crafted in the same way that it is in Shakespeare's theater. I mean, the detail that Marjorie Morris, this teacher who
Man.
decided to do this for
Yeah.
Odessa, it created something like a sanctuary. And I feel Shakespeare's soul in that building. I know that can sound silly, but I feel it. I feel the possibility and the importance that exists over there, the potential. And I want to do great things in that globe. And I want to make sure it's wide open for our community because it's Odessa's globe. Odessa College, we like to say Odessa College is your community college. This Globe Theater belongs to the community of Odessa. Everything I do will be with that heart in mind and to celebrate it in that way.
Well, that is beautiful and wonderful, and I love the turn of phrase of make believe. Now that was great. That gave me chills. But I have to say, sitting there and watching your performance, the cast that you chose, the subject matter that particular play, everything was so wonderful in that space, and you did make such good use of the whole space in a way that it hadn't been in so long, of making the theater itself a character in the show. Because you can't do that just anywhere. You can't do the things that you did in the Globe just somewhere else. Uh, and so that was very respectful of the space, and honored all of the people that came before it. So that was great. And I just have to tag team on that. How excited I was the first day we met. Like that, I was on campus at OC for something completely different, and Eric Baker was in that meeting with me, and he's like, "Hey, we've got a candidate for the Globe position. Why don't you come meet him?" I was like, "Okay, well, why not?" And I don't think we had started talking for 60 seconds, and I was like, "This is someone who's going to be a phenomenal asset to my community, but more than that, is going to be a great friend." And I just really have been so excited to see you blossom over the last year. So I
I
just had
remember
to.
coming back into town, Randy. Well, I should say before leaving Odessa and packing my stuff up, driving back to Los Angeles, California, where I came from,
Yes,
and packing up all my stuff. I remember that morning before leaving, we met at Starbucks,
yes, we
right
did.
downtown over here, and had just the best conversation and finishing each other's sentences, not just in what we were excited about in the moment, but excited about in what could be, what would be to come. And when I arrived back here in Odessa, I think it was right the 1st of August or something, you were my first phone call, my first coffee
Right.
again with you. And anytime I've been in need of an artistic connection, a friend's ear, you've been the first person. You've been there. I'm sure you're like that for many other people, but this, your words in terms of Much Ado were so kind and meaningful because those were a lot of the intentions that I had, and I just hope to be able to return the favor and let you know how special you've been to me, and that first coffee. And God bless Eric Baker for that. I'll
Right,
I'll
man,
thank him
Eric
forever.
Baker. It's been a lot of fun this last year, getting to know you and see the fruits of your labor, and see you establishing the Globe in a new way. So I gotta ask, what's next?
Mm. Everything.
Yes, that's what I
Everything.
like to hear.
Everything. It's just that we have a life to get there,
Yes, we
right?
do. We do.
But the doors are open. Possibility is ripe. But being specific, how are we going to launch into this upcoming season 24-25?
Right. Well, one thing I wanted you to talk about before you even got into your next season, you started inviting the community in two really amazing ways. And one is what I would consider a very caretaker way, getting the community reinvested in the Globe with community days. So tell me about community days.
I think everything that has to do with the vision of the globe moving forward breaks
Mm,
down into three camps.
okay.
Breaks down into being leaders in terms of training,
Hmm.
leaders in terms of performance, leaders in terms of community. Training, performance, and community. That's what we're about. When it comes to community, community is one of those things people can talk about all the time.
Sure.
But when we work together to build the vision, the future that we're all after, when we put in the sweat together, the laughter together, the ideas together, when we really do it together, it's
Hmm.
ours. It
Yes.
belongs to us in a way that is better. I don't know. It's like when you cook your own food when you know what you're doing, right?
Yes.
It's like, does it taste better? I mean, probably, yeah, but it's deeper. It's deeper. It's more meaningful. And I think in, when we looked at all the projects we wanted to tackle with the Globe,
Yeah.
professional dressing rooms, organizing our costumes, we have vast amounts of costumes. We got to organize them. We have
Yes.
so many things, and we want to make sure that we have access to all of it. Instead of just doing it on our own and then showing all of our finished product to the community, we ask the community, help us do this stuff. Once a month, Randy, we have this community day where for a couple of hours we have a project and we invite everybody. You are someone interested, we're interested in you. You don't have to be anything special. You are special already. But come down, lay a hand. Some people, it's more physical. Some people with ideas. Some people are just good cheer to be around on days when we're
Yeah.
painting or cleaning or any of those sorts.
Sure.
So, starting in August, when we kick off our new season, every month we're going to invite people in to help build out the next projects that we have, projects that have led us to beautify dressing rooms, that have led us to cleaning out and rebuilding our concession cottage. Can I
Yeah.
sneak in that we had a very exciting
Yes.
connection with our culinary school where they are
Yeah.
now crafting concessions that are themed to each show and available at intermission? And we have this beautiful cottage that's set up so that The amazing talents of our chefs over in our culinary school are now part of the delight of live theater when you come to see a performance in our Globe main stage. So, building out a concessions cottage, building out our dressing rooms, those are all things that have happened last year.
Hmm.
And I won't ruin them, but I'm just going to say that the projects that we have coming up in this upcoming year are going to be things that are going to fill everybody in our community with pride, make us high five each other. In fact, I'm sending everybody now a high five through the time space continuum here and just saying thank you for already coming out and being a part of what we've done. But those are our community days. And in the evenings on once a month, so once a month, we have our community days.
Sure.
Once a month, we also have Cabaret Nights at the Globe,
I'm so excited
an
about that.
opportunity for people to share what they're passionate about. This isn't a competition. Nobody gets prizes
Mm-mm.
at the end. This is a stage that is open for you, the Globe stage that is open to you, our community. That extends to Midland, that extends to anywhere in Odessa, that extends to friends that have been visiting from London, England. They came down here and they
Yes.
said, wow, what an opportunity it would be to share some of my poetry on the stage. I said, you came at the right time. Our cabaret nights are an opportunity for people to risk little pieces of passion, whether it's something you've written, it's a dance, something you want to sing. I'm so moved the other night when one of our administrators shared a song that her grandmother had taught her, and she hadn't sung that song, Randy, since the day that her
Really?
grandmother passed.
Oh,
She got up
man.
on stage. She didn't wasn't doing it to impress us with her voice, how
Right.
beautiful that voice was, but what it's like as an audience member, as a community
Yeah.
member, to sit there and feel somebody pouring out their heart on stage. That's what it's about. So, in this upcoming season, it's going to be every month. We're going to have a Friday night where from 6 to 7:30 p.m., we share, we risk, we express, and we sort of we get inspired by watching people that sometimes we pass over, friends that we thought we knew everything about. We see something extra magical, extraordinary inside of them and cheer them on as they share it with all of us. So, community days, cabaret nights, and we'll surround that sense of community with the best training any actor will get anywhere over here in Texas. They're going to learn how to do anything and everything that they want to do. There's no cap to that. They'll learn how to take care of themselves when they study and train with us. We'll have main stage performances in the fall, main stage performances in the spring. We'll have student performances as well that showcase this growth in the emerging artists that we'll have here in Odessa. Odessa College theater is going to be something that if we do our job right, people are going to hunger to come train over here, to
Yeah.
find themselves here, to test themselves out on our main stage with exciting performances, and then go out and dominate this profession in the Los Angeleses, the New Yorks, the Dallases, the overseas. We want to train people here fiercely and send them out to change the world. That's what we want to be known for in Odessa. That's what we want to be known for at the Globe and Odessa College.
That is amazing. Uh, and also, tell me a little bit, if people are asking, what is um, what is the byproduct of a good theatrical education?
Hmm. Trying to think what it doesn't do, to be honest. If you think about it, right? Like theater or any type of art is again about finding that part of yourself that gets something in this world and being able to express it unapologetically. Our instrument as actors is our humanity,
Hmm.
our imagination, our voice, our emotions, our physicality, how we understand relationships, how we understand ourselves. This is our product. This is our instrument. You could push a key on a piano. I'm not a pianist, but I think that's how it works. You push it, out comes song,
Right.
right? Over
Yes.
here, the world pushes on our humanity. It does things to us emotionally. And if we can express the truth of that emotion, it does things to us that shape our bodies and our voices. And if we can express all that stuff, I mean, that's the actor's instrument, is you. So the work of unlocking that instrument, of knowing your power, knowing how to free those things that life quiets, how to roar unapologetically, how to be truthful. These are things that they go beyond professional stuff. It helps you live life fully. We sleepwalk through life, don't we all, right? This isn't
Yes.
just me saying it. I
No.
do as well. Our heads are in our phones more they are in contact in the world around us. I know that when people give me a hug, I mean, do I even really feel that body on mine? Everything is so numbed. We're so careful. And in a lot of ways, that's great, right? You don't want to
Yeah.
just be like, I'm going to walk across the street. We should be guarded and careful that we're going to be safe. But the cost of that, the byproduct of that, is we're numbed to life. We
Yes.
don't know ourselves. We don't know what it's like to fully laugh unapologetically, to be loved unapologetically. Ugh, gives me, I mean, I have a puppy. First time
Yeah.
I ever had a puppy, and the first time I understand that there's no filter in terms of that love. We human beings, it's so complicated. We don't want to love so fully in case of rejection. We're scared to take in all of that love. There's so many rules and filters that close life away from our hearts, from our humanity. Acting is the art form of transformation, of opening up your truth, your life, your humanity, and going in directions empathetically that others never get to taste, never get to know. So you do the work as an actor to know yourself, to express yourself. You become the mightiest version of yourself, and that can be sent into any other profession, to any other aspect. I can't talk enough about it. Come
Well,
train with us.
absolutely. I am very excited about you and the direction that the theater is going and the vibrancy that you've brought. Um, but most importantly, I hope everybody that is watching and listening today, if they just take away one thing, it's that everybody needs a dog. Uh, because it really is, it does change your life in such a weird
Yes.
way. It really does. Aaron, I want to thank you for being here today. This has been a lot of fun, as it always is when we get together. So we'll have you back when we talk about your fall productions, your spring productions. But if you're out there, folks, come to a community day, come to a cabaret night, audition for a show. You don't have to be an OC student to audition. That's correct,
You
right?
don't have to be anything other than yourself. It's a lot of work to go after your potential and try and be the best of yourself. Working with me is not an easy thing, but if you're committed and hungry for something special, come audition. You don't have to be anything other than you are. Come over. Let's meet each other in any form, as an actor, as somebody backstage and crew. If you want to be involved in this, you're beautiful, special, worthwhile enough as you are. Just come and connect, take the guts of reaching out to us. Find us on Facebook at Odessa College Theater. Walk into the theater during an open rehearsal. Just walk in, just introduce yourself. I'll take it from there.
All right. Well, Aaron, thank you so much. Thank you, folks, for turning in to Art After Dark. And Aaron, cheers.
Cheers, my friend.